I retired when I was 54 years old. And one of the questions I get asked the most is, how did you know when it was the right time to retire? How did you decide to retire at such a young age? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about maybe 6 or 7 different factors that you need to take into consideration when you're deciding when it's the right time to retire for you. What's up, guys? It's Greeny. If you're new to the channel, I live in Thailand now. I retired at the age of 54 years old. I'm married to a Thai lady. I'm not a resident of Thailand, but I'm based here. I like to travel a lot. I like to go to different countries. Since June, I've been to, let me think, the Philippines, Japan, Vietnam twice, Malaysia, Singapore. Been on a cruise, so been doing quite a bit of traveling lately, and that's what I dreamed about. And I want to tell you, it was hard to leave my job. It was hard to pull the plug and retire. But there's one thing that I value more than money, and that's my time. Being in that work environment, it got to a certain point where all I could do is, just kind of fantasize about, I want to be here, I want to be there, I wanted to be anywhere but at work. So I knew it was time, but there's considerations, there's factors that are involved in deciding when you're ready to retire, And number one is going to be, are you financially prepared to retire? This is one of the most crucial factors people should consider before retirement. It's important to have a clear understanding of your finances, your savings, your investments, your debts, and what expenses are you going to have in retirement. You got to make sure you can afford everything. So there's several factors you need to think about when you're thinking about your finances coming into retirement. Can you afford to support yourself for, say, the next 20, 30 years, And besides just thinking about that, you have to think about unexpected costs, Is something going to pop up? A health issue, there's just a ton of different things that can pop up. So you always want to make sure that you have some sort of nest egg on top of what you feel may be a reasonable amount to be able to retire with. If you're sitting there at home right now and you're thinking, well, I really want to retire. Are you debt free right now? Or do you have a lot of debt? In retirement, will you still be able to pay off this debt? Do you have an income stream? What are you retiring on? A pension? Just your savings, investments, Social Security. How are you going to afford it? Think about that. Make a list, figure it out. Don't just pull the trigger without knowing that you can afford it. Your health and health insurance. Your health is another important factor that you should consider before retiring. You should evaluate your current health status and identify any health issues that may require ongoing medical attention during your retirement. You should also factor in that cost of health care, including insurance and out-of-pocket expenses. One thing to think about is, are you going to retire in America or your home country? Or are you going to travel and retire somewhere where healthcare is much cheaper, where you can afford it? You may be needing a specific procedure. Maybe it's cheaper somewhere else. Maybe that's where you want to retire. Maybe you want to go somewhere where your dollar is going to stretch farther. And if you have some medical issues where, so you didn't have the best health insurance in your home country, where you could actually afford it easier. Social connections. Many people underestimate the importance of social connections. During retirement, it's important to have a strong network of friends. You don't want to go retire or go somewhere or retire at home and just have nothing to do all the time. You want to be able to socialize. If this isn't really an issue for you, if you don't really have a lot of friends, you may want to think about doing other things like volunteering, doing community activities. There's always get-togethers. There's all kinds of groups online. There's many ways to make new friends in retirement. I'll tell you that since I've been kind of basing out of Thailand, since I've been retired here, I've made a ton of friends, Another consideration needs to be, what type of lifestyle are you going to want to live? Do you want to just retire from something or retire to something? Do you have a hobby? Do you have things you want to do? If you're just trying to retire from something with no plan in the future, that's a bad idea. You need to decide what you want to do in retirement. Personally, I started, kind of started with a little bit of photography and then got into making videos, and I wanted to make travel videos, me going different places. Well, with the current situation that happened the last couple of years, I didn't travel as much. So, I made a little bit more videos about real estate and visas and property, and then some silly videos of just daily vlogs, things that we do. And now we're starting to get back into a little bit of travel. But do you have a hobby? Do you have a passion? Are there things you're going to want to do when you retire? You need to have that figured out. Housing is another important situation. Where are you going to live when you retire? Are you going to stay where you live now? Are you going to downsize? Are you going to sell everything you have and move somewhere else? Are you going to just stay put and retire and just stay in your same community? Food for thought, many factors to look into. When you're considering moving somewhere, if you want to like move into a retirement village or something like that, got to weigh those costs. Could be more expensive than, staying where you live, but then you have that social aspect that you were weighing before. It's very important to decide all these things. Are you married? I was single when I retired, so it was just me. It was very easy. If you're married, are you and the wife, or if you're a lady, are you and the husband? Are you guys on the same page? Do you both have the same goals? Do you want to do the same things? That's probably the first thing you need to do if you're married is sit down, talk to the spouse, and lay out a plan. You may have to compromise, You may not even have talked about retirement or talk about retirement, but what exactly you want to do when you're retired. And, they may be thinking one thing and you're thinking something else and you never really discussed it. So you better discuss that way before you're getting ready to pull the plug. The last factor, and this is kind of the biggest one, is are you willing to take the risk, especially if you're retiring young like I did. 54 years old, I had another 10 years of prime work that I could do. And, I probably could have made a lot more money and saved more money. But like I said, my time, I decided was more valuable to me than money, and so I'm comfortable, I'm fine. If you can be comfortable and fine and you just had enough with everything and you just want to do your own thing, then retirement's probably for you. But there's always that risk, if you have investments, will they drop? Will they go up? There's just so many factors involved, things that you may not even think of. So we'll discuss a lot of these different factors and things that can happen and the pluses and minuses of retirement in another video. But I just wanted to touch base with you guys and just throw this out there. What do you guys think about retirement-based videos? Is that a good idea? Do you guys want to talk about a few other things? I have a lot of experience being retired the last couple of years, so as a young person, and love to talk to you guys about it. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. I'm going to put a video right up here. Something you may find useful. It's about retiring in Thailand. Greeny out.